Hey guys, happy Saturday. Quick treat today. I decided I'd grab 20 minutes out of my critical thinking workshop from last Thursday evening, and we picked the controversy you dare not mention to do an analysis. Kepner Trago is not style. So nice engagement from the live attendees, and we used critical thinking tools to get to the actual answer. So enjoy. So the idea here is I could speed things up. I'm conscious of time. But usually you do a very careful definition. But for the purposes of illustration, we'll just do a simple one that captures it. The primary thing about climate change is it's basically a disaster, because always it's a disaster. We're not saying climate change will be mildly annoying in the coming 20 years. That's not what they are saying. It'll be some form of a disaster due to man or woman. Can't be sexist here, right? Clearly. And let's put next decade or so. They're not saying that it's going to be in 500 years we're going to have a climate problem because of our, cow farts. And they're not saying tomorrow, well, many of them have said within the next 10 years we'll have a disaster. And they've been saying that since the 1950s, and they're always wrong. Nothing happens. But basically, they're always saying it's like a carrot in front of a donkey. Oh, in 10 or 20 years, we're going to have problems. The ice caps will melt. We're going to have, in Ireland, there's going to be Costa del Galway because we're going to be so hot. All nonsense, but that's what they're saying. So this is the gist. Now, this problem, what is it according to the people who drive this? What is it, but surprisingly, is not, doesn't seem to be a problem. So take a moment to get used to this, and I have a load of stuff here to prompt or nudge it along. So what are people thinking? I'll do the first one just to keep it simple. It is clearly CO2 and methane. They're the big ones. This problem is it's CO2 and methane. I keep saying it. Surprisingly, it's not water vapor, which is an enormous greenhouse gas that dwarfs these little babies. It's not the Milankovitch cycle, which is a fully published tens of thousands of years cycle as the Earth moves with the sun, the solar system. And it's established to have cadence of causing ice ages and warm periods. But under what we're told, it's clearly not that. No one talks about Milankovitch. It's not sunspot, right? Which is a ton of science. So what inference could we take from that it is apparently CO2 and methane, according to what's being claimed, but clearly it's not any of these enormous things? How could that be? What inference would we take from this distinction between what it is and what it is not? Any thoughts?
To industrial activity?
Yeah. What's clearly being claimed is only, let's say, industrial activity, which is success of humanity. Everything we do that makes us happier, more successful, and grow involves energy. And you're right, it's only that. Freedom, progress. It's only freedom and progress things that cause this. But actually, the IPCC, if we wonder how this could be, the IPCC specifically back, I think in the 90s, decreed that we would only look at this.
Fine IPCC, please. Over.
Sorry? Oh, International Panel on Climate Change? Yeah, that's the UN. So Rockefeller basically created the climate change thing in the 50s and 60s. They essentially created the UN, even longer history, and the IPCC came out of the UN. So we won't get into the history, but it all came from big oil, ultra wealthy people, for what it's worth. So the IPCC, which was given total power to decide all of this, they decreed that they would only allow focus on this. So basically, I think it's fair to say, no matter what side, we can see that it's political by definition, because a political body, a lobbying body, essentially, decreed we would not look at the problem. So in any problem, you must look at all factors, and by all means, when you've quantified all factors and you understand the whole problem, you can then choose the factors easiest to work on in the solution. That's what we did in engineering forever. Anyone who pre-picked the things they wanted to focus on, by definition, is a charlatan, because they're deciding they don't want to understand the problem. They're deciding in advance what they want their solution to be. So, the inference there is clearly it's political and it was decided in advance. That's not to say it's wrong, but it's a problem, right? It's something we should be talking about a lot. And we should be talking about all of these a lot relative to those and putting context on the whole picture. So anyway, that's just a thought. Does anyone want to throw out another of what the problem is and what it might be, but it seems it's not?
I've got one question. I'm Scott. I had always heard that there was an issue with global warming versus global cooling. So what exactly is the disaster?
Well, that's a good point. So it is, at the moment, it is warming is the disaster. You're absolutely right, Scott. And it most certainly is not what it might be. It's not cooling. But the inference there, if you just checked it out a little, would be that, well, in the 70s, it was cooling and it was certainly not warming from the same characters. And what happened actually was, in the 60s, the temperature began to tail down. And then suddenly, what came out was a catastrophe from an ice age approaching. I mean, Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek or whatever did a documentary on it. There's time covers. But now it's switched to warming, but you could argue, well, that's because the trend turned and it began to warm. So it might be whatever way the wind is blowing is the catastrophe. Who knows? But you're right. It's warming, but it's not cooling. But what I just told you, history is important because it speaks to credibility. The history of this. And yeah, it was cooling before and not warming, and now it's warming, not cooling. And if the planet started cooling again, they'd either say it's because we did a tiny reduction in CO2, they probably would, or they might say, well, actually, we're wrong, but we're going to have a cooling catastrophe. Who knows? Who knows? Any other thoughts? So what it is and what you'd expect it, but it's not. And I can throw in a...
I'm sorry. Is it all seemingly based on models rather than reality?
Ah! This is good. It is modeling for sure. And you could almost say it's not anything else. Now, this is a dangerous comment. Because if it was only modeling, it would be absolutely a complete playground for charlatans and people getting grants. It is other stuff, but the problem is the urban heat island effect. So there's papers published up the wazoo that if you only take temperature measuring devices in areas that stayed rural, that did not have built up areas around them, and you only look at those measurement devices that go back 80, 90 years, there's just a slight 0.3 or 0.4 degree. But these guys backed Michael Mann and his hockey stick graph of temperature, which shows that the temperature's gone up through the roof. In other words, modeling because what he did was worse than modelling, and it's been debunked totally, but the IPCC backed him. It was a mistake because he's been utterly debunked. I think there's millions in legal fees being paid out now. He used tree rings, and his whole paper was a form of modelling and using proxies. And just to give you an idea what he did, because I read the book, A Disgrace to the Profession. There's a whole book written about his fraud. And what he did was he went back and used, Obama funded him, I think. He went back and used tree rings to go way back. And when he got to the 1960s, and the tree rings began to say, well, actually, the temperature went on, or began to fall, or there was no crisis, he switched to using the urban heat island affected temperature. So he mixed and matched apples and oranges, and in some places he used a single tree ring to get a data point. The book is great, A Disgrace to the Profession. So the reason I say man is because it is man and all his nonsense, and it's not true. It's fraud. So one of the biggest things that put a shot in the arm in the IPCC when they were looking like losing their funding and the whole thing was being ignored, they backed Michael Mann. He gave them a lifeline, but it transpired to be fraud, which kind of tells you a lot about what this is about. But on the modelling, yes, largely it's modelling, and what I would also call modelling is, I'm going to put here, urban heat island is huge, and we won't dig in, because in a real exercise we'd have a lot more time. This is just to look at the is not, how it lays things out logically. But I would also call modelling the retrospective correction of prior temperature records. Correction, right? So if you look 20 years ago at the temperatures for, say, the 50s, 60s, 70s in NASA, and you look at them now, they're different. But you can't go in a time machine. They're correcting the prior records. And when they look back, they seem to be a little cooler than we thought they were. And now they're a little warmer because of the urban heat island. So you put the two together, you might not get a hockey stick, but you get yourself something you can get funded for. I'm sorry to be a cynic, but when I looked into this, I was just shocked as an engineer who's worked for 30 years in data at the highest level of logic and problem solving. I could not believe what I saw when I looked into this after COVID. I always thought it was a bit of a conspiracy theory that the climate change was a load of rubbish. I said, come on, there's no way everyone's going to be backing it. There has to be something in it. Until I looked. There you go. So I think the idea is coming through, hopefully. Any other thoughts? I have one I can add in, that I interviewed an Irish climate expert. Him and his brother and his father, they're top PhD kind of physics guys, and they're in with other climate guys and they're trying to publish some facts. But I asked him about the 97% of scientists agree. Okay, that's powerful. That could convert a nation to worrying about this. How could 97% of scientists be wrong? It's absurd. The interesting thing is that paper was essentially also fraud. Data fraud. I read it. He explained it to me and then I read it to make sure it was true. They asked them all about, do you think climate change is man-made, or do you think there's man-made elements of climate change? And loads of them said, yeah. But then they basically came out and said that 97% agreed with this, which they didn't. They didn't agree it was a disaster. They didn't agree it was serious. And they didn't agree it was all man-made. They just generally kind of went along with it. I forget the percentages, but there was something like 3 to 5% that actually backed that it's a massive problem and we need to blah, blah, blah. So when you see something that different, it's fraud. It's data fraud. So anyway, hopefully you can see when you do the is not, and look, people who are really concerned about climate change here, by all means, these are also opinions. But when you put down the stuff and you check it out and you begin to fill it, you get a picture, right? You get a critical thinking, kind of stand back, no emotion picture. And that picture would be very useful if it saves us trillions of dollars and the destruction of human progress. It could be useful. Could be useful. So do people want to do that some more or have some fun with the AIDS one, which I don't know much about? What do you think? Because there's loads more here, by the way. And again, yeah, I have 2 pages full of these and none of them are supportive.
What were the name of the brothers?
The brothers. Which brother? Oh,
The study. I mean, because I remember watching a presentation where exactly the problem with 97% of the scientists were agreeing, and I wanted to send it to a friend, but I can't find it.
okay.
And it must be, I think the man was Irish, I'm pretty sure.
It could have been, Connolly. Connolly is the second
Yes.
name because...
Yeah.
So the Connolly is fantastic. I interviewed him in person in Dublin.
Yes.
I know his brother, who was amazing in his data analysis during COVID, one of my network. I'm talking next level. These guys are brilliant. And Willie Soon is an international researcher, a Chinese guy who works with them and published many papers. I'll send on the 97% interview, the short interview where I excerpted the 97% piece.
Yeah.
Both were demonetized by YouTube, by the way. So this is another problem. Just a discussion. And I'll also send on, I think, I'll send on their website because they have a ton of great resources there on their website. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Maybe if you want, we could just look for fun. That's another is not. But all I want to do is give you the idea, because you got to run with it yourself. Start doing it. Start playing with it. When you talk to people and you filled out an is not, even on the back of an envelope, and say, hey, what do you think about this? You know, I'm kind of looking at what is going on here, what it isn't, but you'd expect it to be. And I'm kind of, this look, what do you think? You can get people in and begin to look at it logically, even if they're hypnotized. Hypnotized indeed. Well, that'll do it, folks. If you want to join in the fun and learning on critical thinking or mental strength and resilience, or indeed weight loss masterclass, just go to ivorcumminsworkshops.com and note the dates of the next sessions. As you look at each one, I'll have the date of the next live session, so you can stick it in the calendar. Looking forward to seeing you live.